Okay, so I'm Nathalie Lebas. I'm the manager of Chrysalis, which is a generative training, coaching, and consulting company. And as you know, we are going to have a health certification training, and it starts in December. And today I have the honor to have Tim and Kris Hallbom. So thank you for being here, Kris and Tim. So I have some questions for the French people about your background and the health certification training. And my first question is about your background. Could you tell me more about it? What did you do in your background, and what brought you both to health certification training?
Well, I can go ahead and start. So I'm delighted to be here with you. Thank you for interviewing us.
Thank you, Tim.
When I first got into NLP, which is in the very early days of NLP, I was working with Suzi Smith, and we were actually already doing health trainings, but not using NLP because it was brand new and we hadn't heard much about it. And Suzi and I were, when I discovered NLP, we were actually teaching a group of health faculty at the University of Utah how to deal with stress. And that was a big thing back then in like 1980. And we, after that, we're learning NLP and got involved with Robert Dilts. And we began to put together our ideas for how you might use NLP with health issues. And Suzi and Robert and I wrote a book called Beliefs, Pathway to Health and Wellbeing, first published in 1990. It was just republished a few years ago too. And it's all about how you approach health issues using NLP. And so it's been a major part of my career, is trying to identify what kinds of things can we do to make our best health possible. You can't cure anything with NLP, obviously. It's not a medical cure. But what we can do is help people organize and create the circumstances for their own best healing.
And for me, I started working with Tim and Suzi in the late 1980s. And I remember the very first NLP health certification training that took place through the institute that we worked at in the early 1990s. And the energy of the group was so incredible. And with that, through the publication of the books of beliefs, and also with working with Tim and Suzi and Robert as well, I developed a deep interest in health. And I started my first coaching practice in 1997. And so through the years, I've had the opportunity to apply NLP and health applications and the specific applications that are taught, many of them in the NLP coach program that will be taught in France. And I've been able to apply the processes and techniques and concepts in my practice with my clients, and have seen some incredible results. As a matter of fact, I was working with a woman. I started working with her in July, someone from Europe who had been diagnosed with colon cancer. And so I started working with her, and then she worked with Suzi as well. And we just got a letter a couple of weeks ago that her cancer is completely gone. Even at the microscopic level, they did pathology reports and it's gone. And of course, she was the one that did all the work, and she combined NLP and diet and a lot of other alternative processes and also Western medicine, and was able to completely heal herself. And Tim and I know Suzi and Robert, have seen many times over the years where people have overcome incredible health challenges using NLP and health applications. So it's something that we're both very passionate about. And then I was really put to the test in 2011 because I received a very scary diagnosis and was told I was in the late stages of cancer and had this large abdominal mass, and it was very, very scary. And so Tim and I worked nonstop on that, and I was able to heal myself as well. And so we actually put together a protocol for what we did during that time. And there were 25 key actions that we took. And we will be sharing that protocol in the health certification training, along with a lot of other very useful and practical techniques and processes and concepts that people can use with their clients and with themselves, in addition to any necessary traditional Western medicine that might be needed as well.
Thank you for that. And so I know you work in NLP for many years, both of you. Could you tell us more about what you have developed? Because I know you've developed lots of new models or new techniques. So can you tell more about that?
Yes. Well, one of the ones that we've taught now all over the world is called dynamic spin release. And it's really a number of different processes that uses your unconscious mind's ability to create metaphor, your ability to use submodalities in certain kinds of ways. And some of the processes are very rapid, but they work very powerfully. And we'll be teaching those. And many times when we've taught that, when we've taught it, like, for example, in psychiatric institutions, feedback has been as one of the things that the therapists are using the most, because it's effective and it's consistent. And so that's one area that we've worked a lot with that we'll be sharing. A second one is I combined some things and developed a protocol for dealing with trauma. And now it's been researched, the protocol, in 4 major universities in the United States. And the results have been very consistent, that using NLP in this way can help reduce and, in fact, eliminate a lot of the post-traumatic stress symptoms that people get. And so one of the things we'll be sharing is how to deal with traumas. And you might think of traumas as, things that happen in police situations or things that might happen in a fire or in a war. But traumas also happen frequently in an everyday kind of basis. Someone is a child and they get screamed at by an adult, and that becomes a trauma, and they develop a belief and they're kind of stuck with that. And so these kind of techniques can make a huge impact on that as well.
And one of the other neat things, I want to circle back to dynamic spin release, is it works really great with emotions and negative thought patterns. And we have found incredible uses for it in the applications of health. And over the years have had people report back to us that they have used dynamic spin release to deal with a number of physical issues, including pain or even chronic issues that they've had, like maybe an old injury. People have used it with even more serious diagnoses. And again, the feedback we get is really good on that, as well as the trauma process, which works really well when somebody has some type of an accident where they might hurt themselves, or even if they're traumatized, but what a doctor tells them, because sometimes people develop trauma just going through the whole process of dealing with cancer or whatever diagnosis that they're dealing with. And so that's one of the things that we talk about in the training and covering, is the whole languaging aspect of how you can talk to your own body, and then also talk to other people and clients about health in a way that's going to really activate the immune system for rapid healing.
Thank you. And we really have the chance to have both of you in France. What could French people benefit from that training, according to you?
Well, gosh, there are so many benefits. We'll be covering a lot of areas. One area is longevity.
Mm.
What are the key factors that are behind people who are able to live to 100 or 110 and to live healthy lives? And there are many key factors for what can happen with that. So we'll be talking about longevity and how to expand your life. We'll also be covering, the impact of our thoughts and our own thinking on our health, and teach different processes and techniques to change how we think.
We've also developed a coach model where we call it the law model, because it's just a simple way of talking about it, which is L is for listening. So it's kind of like an acronym, LAW. So L is for listening, and it's what you listen for. And it's when we're listening, it's not just with our ears, but we're listening at multiple levels when we're doing, I think, health coaching, that's important. A is for asking good questions that help open up a person and help them reveal to themselves more about what's going on and what's at the bottom of their issue. And then W is for watching. And one of the things that we use are eye movements in a really different way than what we've originally learned in NLP. Everybody's seen the happy face, but we're also going to be teaching how to locate the origins of imprints and limiting beliefs and health issues using advanced eye movement processes that actually work very sort of magically. I mean, I hate to use that word, but it sort of seems that way. It isn't really magic, but it's kind of like you get somebody's eye in the right place on the right feeling, and it's like this memory will come back up and it'll be a total reliving of whatever happened then. And then you're going right to the source of what to work with.
And another thing we'll be diving deep into is the whole idea of forgiveness, because what we have found over the years is that many times when people have some type of a serious health issue or they're just not healing, they are dealing with some type of a forgiveness issue. They're holding on to resentment. And we have a very practical forgiveness process to help people be able to forgive themselves and their others. And we'll also talk about the different types of forgiveness, because not only do you need to forgive other people, but sometimes you need to forgive yourself, or you need to forgive even things going on in the world or stuff with politics. It was interesting. Years ago, we had a woman in our health training who had wheeled in on one of those wheel things because she had some type of a surgery on her knee, and she said, yeah, this will be all healed up in like 6 weeks. But then she came to the next module of the training, several months later, and it hadn't healed at all. And what she realized is, because that was the module where we talked about forgiveness. And so she realized that she had a lot of forgiveness issues with herself and with others that she needed to heal. And she wrote a long letter back to us and told us she did the process over 20 times with herself, that she learned. And she just immediately healed up just like that. And she realized that that was the one thing that was stopping her. And the reason why she did it so many times is because she had so many people she needed to forgive. And she also had a lot of issues with herself that she needed to forgive. And so we'll be sharing a very practical process to help people forgive that can expedite the healing process as well.
Well, that's great.
One of our real important criteria is being practical. So it's like we really work at teaching people something they can actually do. So you're not just talking to the person that you're working with, but you actually have kind of a structure you can work through. And it makes a huge difference when people have that kind of coach structure in mind, so that they can have a way to apply these different NLP methods systematically that work. So,
and another thing we'll be covering is how to communicate with the symptom behind an illness or behind a physical issue, because there's always a good reason why you have an issue. And so we'll talk about how to communicate with the system and then share a process to be able to do something with the information and the feedback that you get from whatever the health issue or health symptom is that you're dealing with. Another thing we'll be covering is an advanced form of re-imprinting. And what we have found in our work through the years is typically when somebody's dealing with a really serious health issue, there's going to be imprints, there's going to be beliefs, there's going to be unconscious conflicts, and there's going to be double binds. And all of those things get covered in this training. And we'll be sharing a process, as I said, that's an advanced form of re-imprinting. And with Tim's relevatory eye movement patterning, you can quickly find imprints through eye movements. And so you'll learn how to do that and then learn an advanced way for re-imprinting that actually sometimes works even faster than typical re-imprinting and gets really great results. And it's the type of re-imprinting now that Tim and I do exclusively with our clients. And we found that, like I said, dealing with imprints, dealing with limiting beliefs, dealing with conflicts, dealing with double binds, all contribute to helping a person be able to quickly heal themselves or overcome a serious health issue.
That's really great. Thank you, because I'm looking forward to having you and to follow that training. Do you want to add something more to the French people?
Yeah, we had the good fortune of coming to Paris to do the first version of this health coach program back in December of 2019. The problem was that's when COVID was at its peak. And we got to come to Paris when all the restaurants were closed. And it was like, that's like going to paradise and all the doors are locked. But we still had a wonderful time with the group. And we've received so many nice letters and people's success stories. It's been really rewarding. And we thought the group in Paris was a remarkable group. And we're sure if we go back, we're going to have another group like that, which was a real special group of people.
As a matter of fact, the people in our health programs are always the most, they're just so health conscious, health oriented. They've already done a lot of work on themselves. And so I always love the community aspect of the people who come to the health certification training.
And I want to add one more thing. Sometimes people think health coaching, they think, oh, well, you're going to show people how to stop smoking or lose weight or do these habit changes. And we'll probably touch on some of that, but it's not necessarily working on those kind of issues that you find at so many different, like hypnosis clinics and that sort of thing. We're really looking at something deeper, like how do you create systemic health for yourself that would include controlling and dealing effectively with habits, but also with helping your body to work and mind work together in the optimal way, the best possible way. So it's much deeper than just working with habit patterns.
That's true. So thank you to both of you for having accepted that interview, and thank you for everything. And I'm really looking forward to see you in person in France. And
yeah, me too.
It will be in 2022. So thank you.
And we're looking forward to seeing you and Jean Luc when we're in Paris and meeting a new group of wonderful people.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Natalie. Take care.